Alright, guys. I'm just going to make this simple. Today, what I'm doing is I have a match one of my friends had at PANS in Orlando. I want to say, was it this year, 2025, 2024? I don't remember. I was actually there. I'm somewhere up in the stadium up here, if you can see on the screen. But this was probably one of the better matches of the day. A really cool match that I wanted to go through step by step and kind of point out how I would have won it from David's perspective. So I'm going to get right into it. We're going to start this match, and I'm going to kind of draw on the screen here and tell you what I would have done and how I would have done it. And by the way, shout out to both competitors because they both did a really good job in this match. It was actually really fun to watch. So right away here, they end up in this. The challenger Michael down here pulls guard, and I like how David's butt is touching the ground here, and he's going low so that he's not being his posture is not compromised. He's actually keeping relatively good posture. But what I like to see here is right in the middle where I'm circling, in between this guy's head, you can see his leg. I would like to see David starting to try to wedge a knee in this exact area here. Um, Wedging the knee is going to block a lot of guard entries, attacks. It's also gonna he can also sit, and what I like to tell people is you can sit and hide behind the knee, and you can also use that knee in the middle to direct their hips to the ground. So you can actually put your knee in the middle and almost like start going for your knee slice and put this leg here, for instance, on the floor right here. So that this guy will now be facing sideways rather than straight up and down like you see here. So just food for thought. That's kind of how I like to set up once I get pulled, or at least the competitors when I watch them for guards like this and guard setups like this in the very beginning. And you can also get a very good look at what this guy's going to start doing when you go that way. But Dave's kind of sitting. This foot right here is hooked on Dave, which is kind of compromising all that. So I would be. Here's here's a funny point. That's a funny pausing point right here. But it kind of gotten Dave look like a scarecrow. But what I would like to do here, and let me see if I can go back and catch it so he's not so scarecrowy. So, and this could also be controversial because there is smash passing, but more like a smaller smaller passing style and more outside. I don't like the hands right here. I don't like the hands fighting the torso. I like to begin fighting the legs. So I don't know where his leg is, here and here. I would prefer his hands here on the legs so that he can start actually taking control of the feet and getting around the feet. It is incredibly difficult to hold on to the shoulders and beat the legs via pummeling or whatever when your posture is compromised by leaning over him, which is what this is eventually going to lead to if you do it too much. I don't think Dave does it too much in this situation, but to be progressively passing through. See how he's starting to lean over and lose his posture, but now Dave is doing a good job at keeping his feet underneath of him and keeping weight on these legs so he doesn't get lifted. So I think Dave starts figuring out not to give him too much on these hooks. Again, the knee is on the guy's butt right here. I would like the knee in the middle so he can start kind of setting up passing. This guy's kind of going for deep half entries, I can see. Or maybe even looking for like some single leg X. Oh no, we got a butterfly. Yep, here we go. He's setting up his. Yeah, that was a little quick reap. Good call, but he didn't really do anything with it. It was just a danger zone moment. And again, we got more of the same. Dave is doing a really good job here at keeping his posture solid, lowering the butt. Oh, whoa, what did I do? Lowering the butt to the floor keeps your center of gravity low. So he's essentially kind of staying below this guy's range of motion and holding on for dear life in a way, which is a lot of work. It's a lot more work than it looks like, but so far it's pretty, I like it. It's pretty back and forth. They're both kind of going for their things here. I can see this guy's going for his daily Hivas, single leg X's. Dave's got really good balance here, staying on top. Again, I would like him to let go of all this and start fighting all this right here. This guy's going for deep entries. If he sat back and started fighting these feet, like I'm saying, these feet wouldn't be giving him this many problems, and he'd be back like where he is right now. It's a great time. Holy shit, he might do it. I don't remember this match. It's been a while. Here we go. Now we're starting to fight some feet, but again, he reached up for the lapel. It just kind of gives him a lot of space and a lot of like hip mobility at the same time. You're kind of giving him space to enter and room to enter. Or mobility to enter, rather. Right here, I'm going to pause it right here because I really do like this strategy. So right here, something that a little unorthodox, but you know, that's what we do. So grabbing this heel right here and shoving it towards the ass. I love doing this because if you shove this heel, hold on. If you shove this heel right here towards their ass, or like you're trying to shove it up their ass, what usually ends up happening is the joint right here starts moving. So you can actually get the hip. If you make it uncomfortable for them, it's kind of secondary. Like they start moving their hips, which in turn sometimes gets this knee to start opening up or the hip to start dropping to the floor, which gives you a lot of room to pass and kind of gets rid of this knee shield altogether and this tight knit spot. Notice this guy's got a really good grip on Dave right now to break the posture. He's got a really deep, I got a naked cat on my shoulder, but he's got a really deep grip right here. So this guy's actually in a really good position, but Dave could be a little bit tricky here and start shoving it up his ass, which will open up this hip and give him a lot of room to work. Either knee slice this way and go around this side, or you can even start smashing this to the ground depending on how he reacts. But let's see what he does. He's trying to collapse the knee shield a little bit. I'm guessing this is around the part where the nerves start wearing off and the adrenaline's going away. Judging by a little bit of the breathing I'm watching. It's on the inside. More of the same a little bit. This guy keeps getting the entries for the hooks. Again, for you guys watching, let me scroll back just a little bit here. See if I can get it back like a hair. A little bit more. When people get these hooks in here, see how Dave has this grip still? And I know I keep nailing this down, but if you notice the pattern of the match, we're doing the same thing over and over again. It's becoming like a back and forth battle. But obviously we're at like a blue belt level and these guys are actually doing great. This is PANS, so this is a pretty big tournament. But this hook right here, if Dave could reach his hand here and start smashing, more of like sticking the heel up the ass, it'll kill this hook, give him control of the one leg, which will start giving him control of this whole joint and this whole position here. If you think about holding somebody's ankle and being able to move it side by side, if you're on the outside of the pass, then you can dictate what way their hips are moving easier. Obviously there's counters, but if you can grab a hold of a leg and say swing it this way, the torso is going to move with it. Like if his, let me draw it real quick. If his hips swing this way, the torso will swing this way. So this doesn't really need to be here because you can kind of control where that torso is going from down here and start getting control of these hips. That's a huge thing I see at the blue belt level is or like lower levels. Everyone's trying to beat the chest, which I would prefer beating the hips and working our way up there to control those hips. Kind of like in wrestling. It's a really big thing in wrestling. But again, we're back in here. Dave's stepping over the guard on this side, which gets tricky because it's giving this guy all sorts of looks that he's trying to figure out how to get entry deep in under Dave, whether it's X guard or deep half, but it's looking like he's going more X and daily Hivas and stuff. Can't really tell because they're going back and forth a lot. Like the pressure coming down for Dave. Here we go. So here, this is doing good because now this leg is under control and this foot is kind of getting under control. He's still battling for that like single butterfly right here, which is going to give him a lot of leverage. I love that. That's like a lifesaver for this guy. If his leg's right here connected to his body, like this, if his legs connected something like that, he's going to have a lot of leverage and a lot of ability here to mess with Dave. I do like this a lot for the guy on bottom, but for Dave, it's going to be tricky. He needs to either make these knees touch each other to collapse this guard and make his legs one unit, or he's going to have to be really freaking agile and start and hop over, or he can bring this knee up and start slicing through this side and kind of do like a reverse knee slices to help kind of collapse that. But either way, what I keep saying this whole video is it will give you control of the hips down, which is going to get this guy's legs out of the way and help him to start climbing up to where he wants to be. But there are some good things here. Like right here as well, we're in a tournament. I'm going to be mean. I would put my forearm on this guy's chin and start using it to dictate what way his head goes. So if I was going to be an asshole and start passing, which we're in a tournament situation, so I say go for it. He's got a good leverage here where he's grabbing the lapel. Drop that forearm on the face, and with the forearm, you can control what way this guy's head looks. And when you control the head like that, it's going to give you a lot more options of what way you can go. It's really hard to fight someone. If you're looking this way, it's hard to fight them over here and vice versa. So just some ideas in this spot right here. You can see the happy coach back here yelling at him. I could hear that guy, and I was up here, probably behind him. So see, right here, I would like, and here's another thing right here. So this is a good spot. See how Dave is essentially forming a cage around this guy. If his posture was more here and his body was upright, here's Dave now. There we go. This is starting to look really sexual. But this would make it to where Dave can start applying weight down and make the guy carry him. If the guy's legs are carrying Dave, then that is going to start wearing the guy's guard down and give that guy incentive to let Dave pass. But Dave's hands on the mat right here and forming this cage, and also you can see he's light because he's lifted. So he's getting lifted up by this guy's feet with his hands on the mat, which means there's really no weight on the guy. So this is putting Dave in a bad spot. I would rather him go back to ass down low or good posture above. So that way this guy's whole leg and thigh area here is carrying Dave's weight. So make him carry your weight to wear him down. The other thing that sucks is in IBJJF, the guard passing is a lot of fucking work. Both ways are a lot of work, but they generally tend to favor the freaking guard player here. So you got to do a really good job on top. You got to be on point. And I think that's what happens this match. Spoiler alert. So these hooks keep causing problems for Dave here. So putting the knee through the middle would really help him because it would get him in between those legs, not outside those legs. So kind of fighting from the inside. He's like, let's give him credit for the amazing balance he's showing. Like he's showing a lot of athletic ability, really good balance. He's actually sitting on his toes like a ballerina right now. But to be progressive, like right there, I would have started putting all my weight on the legs. This guy's getting tired. Let's see, we got 45 seconds left. So here we go. A little bit going. See, he goes in head heavy. And that's what happens when you lead with your head. See how he does. I don't think he's going to get it. Good try, though. Nice. But we're right back to the same position. So this guy, I got to give him credit. The guy on the bottom keeps going back to his home base. Like, he keeps popping back into where he's comfortable, obviously. And we got more of the same here. So, and I want to note too, since we're at the end of this, let me go back a second here. Dave's foot's on the ground. I know I'm saying like go down the middle, split the middle. For those who don't understand what I'm saying, I want just the Dave's whole leg's in the middle. So why the heck does that keep happening? Right now, Dave's whole leg is through here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the shin here in between this guard while it's flat, not inverted, but flat, because this shin right here could also play a factor in pushing his weight whatever way you want it to go. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I don't want you guys to think that I mean, hey, you told him to go down the middle of the guard and this is what it looks like in the middle. This is completely different. He's like, this guy's already like getting his entries and stuff. It's more in that guy's favor. And there's 6 seconds left. I think they ride it out and it goes, yeah, it's 0 0 0 0 0. No advantages, no penalties, no points. And the spoiler alert is it goes to the guard player because it's IBJJF, and I hold that grudge very dearly. You're never going to talk me out of it. But nonetheless, a very good match. You can make arguments for either way. I'm already aware. Save those arguments for the comments because I'll read them. But just to double check here. Oh, hold up. We got to pause the video. Look at that stud right here. That's a hell of a coach if I've ever seen one. He doesn't get to stand on the floor during pans because, you know, they're lock that shit down. But there's a really good coach back here. If you guys ever see him, say what's up to him. I would love him on my team. Great match. I think this was, it doesn't tell me down here. I want to say this was the finals. So really good tournament by Dave. Really good match. And I hope these little tricks that I'm pointing out can kind of give you ideas and feels. If there's anything else you'd like to see or anything that didn't make sense to you, of course, leave it down below. In my opinion, jiu-jitsu is very, you can always be wrong and you can always be right. So if you got something better, put it down in the comment section. I'd love to read it and I'd love to get your point of view on it. And to everyone watching, I appreciate it. And that's today's episode.